3 years ago now, I was invited by the FAI, the Football Association of Ireland, to go across to Dublin to the headquarters to speak to the clubs about social media. I loved it. It was a great time. They put me in a hotel overnight, and the HQ of the Irish Football Association is very impressive indeed. They also invited a team or a couple of people from Aberdeen, one from Colchester United. So we all stayed together and went across to the headquarters together, spoke to all the club representatives and also people from the association. Not that long ago, bringing it to a much closer point in time, I had a telephone call which came out of the blue from an English football club, a top flight club, and we were chatting, and the question that I was asked was, how would you like to work for us? Anyway, we had a conversation, and the final bit, you go a little bit more informal, and they said to me, what are you doing tonight? Going fishing? Let me bring a third example in, which is right up to date to today, or rather the last couple of days. I had a very high profile figure in English football on my website, one of the blog entries, and left a very positive acknowledgement. Now, where am I going in all of this? There is a common thread, and I think it's very important for all of us that inhabit the internet, social media, or our own websites or blog pages or whatever it may be, because the contact from the FAI came about because they'd seen my social media work, the work that I've been posting on the internet, and it was from that that they asked me to go over and speak to their association and the clubs about social media. The guy from Colchester spoke about how, although the club was going through a difficult time on the field at that particular time, they were still bringing more fans in and engaging particularly with younger fans. So he shared about that. Aberdeen, the two media people from there, talked about their television channel and how they reach out across the world with games and so on and so forth. But it was my presence on social media that had attracted the attentions of the association in Ireland. Likewise with the English Premier League club that I just mentioned, and especially when they said to me, are you going fishing tonight? That tells you one thing, that they went through my social media, went through my own personal website, and it's quite clear to see that I am a very keen angler indeed. And likewise with the third example, you never know who's looking on. That's the point that I'm making, because I was very pleasantly surprised when the person in question had been on my site, read one of the posts and gave it a positive acknowledgement, because there are so many in today's world who fail to understand just how important social media is in terms of your own reputation and also your own career prospects. Now, I'm at that end of the working age as far as I'm concerned. I'm not necessarily looking for another job. If I was maybe 20 or 30 years younger, maybe you are, you may be thinking of more of a career path and changes along the way. But just imagine, because you can look at my website, because all my social media posts are actually the blog posts that I make on a daily basis. But you can look at my website or my Twitter account or my Facebook account, and you can read through them, and you'll never find anything that's negative, that's attacking people. You won't find any sarcasm, any nastiness. You won't find anything of that nature. Now, you imagine if the FAI had come across me, because obviously I work in football, that's an initial contact. Imagine if they'd have gone through my stuff and it was full of the bile and the vitriolic abuse and the nastiness that you see in so many people who work in football today. Then I would not have had that invitation to go to Dublin, full stop. The English Premier League side, as they went through my stuff, they no doubt wanted to, or looked at the interviews and the football related things that I do. But just imagine if they'd picked up on the fact that I was nasty, basically, on social media. Do you think they would have taken an interest then? Of course not. Likewise with the other guy, that was just a fleeting one. We've never even had conversation, but he wouldn't have posted a positive comment. Now, I'm not saying that anything will come of that, but if you are making a career for yourself in terms of moving on, then you need to present a positive social media presence. When I look across at Twitter in particular, and you see some of the stuff that people, not only in football, I'm not just talking that, but across the board, post, you think to yourself, you're not doing yourselves any favours. We need to step back sometimes, and instead of playing to the crowd to get a few likes or a few retweets or a few slaps on the back, pats on the back, as it were, we need to step back, because those people that will fuel us on Twitter when we're ranting and raving and people love that sort of stuff, they're not the ones who will employ you. If you work in football like I do, you go on Twitter and play to the crowd because you pick up something to go at, and it's a popular target, maybe football rivalry or something of that nature. The people who retweet it and like it and post the manic laughter icons underneath, they're not the ones who will employ you. They're not the ones who will approach you and say, would you like to come and speak to our football association? They're not the ones who'll say, would you like to work for us? They're not the ones who will come in and post a positive comment. We need to be very careful, be wise, especially with social media and your website, your blog posts, whatever they may be. Be wise.